guys, welcome to Nyonya Cooking. In this video, we are going to explore another cookie recipe, and this is how to prepare Kuih Bangkit. Kuih Bangkit is this little coconutty cookie that is very synonym to Chinese New Year, and since Chinese New Year is approaching, you have to make this to welcome your guests who will be visiting you this year. So without further ado, let's look at the list of ingredients to prepare your own coconut cookies, which will then melt in your mouth. So heavenly, so delicious. Now let's begin. Well, the thing about Kuih Bangkit is that these cookies have very minimal amount of moisture. So here I'm using some tapioca flour, and I have baked them the night before together with some pandan leaves just to add some fragrance. And this was baked at about 150 Celsius for about 1.5 hours. And you will notice that the flour would appear very much lighter after that. So leave it aside, keep it in a container if you want to bake it the next day. Here I have some baking powder. I also have some powdered sugar, egg, coconut cream and not coconut milk. Remember that, because the moisture of this cookie has to be kept at minimum, so that is why we are using coconut cream instead of coconut milk. If you are living overseas just like me in Europe, you'll notice that there are coconut cream sold in boxes, and that's the one that you need to look for. It is quite hard, but then just soak it into hot water together with the whole plastic bag just to ensure it loosens up, and you will get this coconut cream that we'll need here. The first thing that we need to do is to mix all the dry ingredients, but before that we'll remove the pandan leaves and then add the baking powder into the flour. Just mix it well. Now, because we have baked this flour, it is actually very light, so be gentle with it or else you have a kitchen filled with snow. Now let's move on by mixing the egg and the powdered sugar. Now mix this until it becomes a little bit thicker and stiffer. That's when we'll stop. I'll show you later when the color changes as well. Okay, this mixture is done. So you can stop once the color changes into a lighter shade of yellow. And now once you lift this up, you can see that this mixture falls down not smoothly like liquid, but it's rather stiff. The next step is to then add the flour into this sugar and egg mixture. So remember to sift the flour, because after baking the flour tends to be a little bit hard, sometimes it clumps together, so sift it well. Just try to mix it as thoroughly as possible, and then to bring it all together, to bring this whole combination of flour, egg, sugar mixture all together, we're going to use the coconut cream. Because the moisture of this dough is really at its minimal, so using a spatula would not be much help. So the only way is to use your fingers and try to knead it. Once we can shape this dough into little balls like this, then it's good enough. Now, when you're using fresh coconut, for example, it has a higher moisture compared to pre-packed coconut cream, and the one that I'm using has very low or minimal moisture in it, and therefore it's really thick and concentrated. Now with a pinch like this dough can break, but it's okay because the Kuih Bangkit that we love should crumble as you bite, and once it's in contact with your saliva, it should melt the cookie or the batter itself. Now to prepare Kuih Bangkit, I'm using this mold made of plastic. This is the Kuih Bangkit mold. If you do not have this, you can use a cookie cutter. Now with cookie cutter, you're going to have a bit of problem because of the dough that is too dry. Therefore, if you want to make it slightly more moist so that you can roll it out, just add a bit more of coconut cream and then just roll this dough out. Before we start making them, just dust the mold with a bit of tapioca flour. Then I'm going to use a bit of flour to press onto this mold. We have a whole tray of Kuih Bangkit which we are going to bake at about 150 Celsius for around 20 minutes. It really depends on the size of the Kuih Bangkit that you have, but once it's slightly browning, then it's time to take it out. Or if you do not like brown Kuih Bangkit, then take it out at about 15 minutes. It should be done by then. The Kuih Bangkit is now ready, so after baking I left it to cool, and then later on I will put it into containers and I can keep it up to 1 month to 1.5 months. Now this is how it looks like after it's ready. It's still the same except that there are a few cracks because of the low level of moisture that we have in this cookie itself. The thing about this cookie is that when you have it in your mouth, as I mentioned, it will sort of melt because of the tapioca flour, and if you have worked with tapioca flour, you know the consistency that it's going to have when it touches with water, in this case saliva. Really coconutty. The level of sweetness is not too much, just nice. It goes very well with tea, according to some friends who have already tried these cookies. You will love this recipe if you are into coconut milk especially. So I hope you try this recipe, give it a try, and then tell me your comments in the comment section below, of course, on Instagram, Facebook, or even Twitter. I hope to hear from you soon. Till then, happy cooking!